Chapter 5. Sam was finishing disinfecting the back seat with a spray bottle and a washcloth when Manny walked up behind him. Manny asked, "You ready?" "Yeah, I think I got all of it. I'll tell you what, he ain't riding in my car again." Touche. The three of us packed the car and drove off into the adventure of Michigan traffic. Michigan drivers were notorious for being assholes. I think Sam nearly got into two accidents just by someone cutting them off, yet the other drivers was the one cursing and saluting the middle finger at him. Not only that, but the people there were rude, as he liked to honk at him because he was going the speed limit. No wonder cops liked writing up tickets. Driving off into Expressway wasn't much better. The rough terrain was enough to think we might have been driving on a flat tire. Sam assured it was just a road, and he was right. After an hour, Manny asked, "Are we in Ohio yet?" She smiled and said, "Oh, you'll know." Sam was right again. That rough terrain suddenly became smooth, and we looked back at the huge billboard and said, "Welcome to Ohio." After some scenery of some farmland and cornfields, we had an opposite take of the people compared to Michigan. Instead of yelling at us, they waved to us from their cars as if they knew us. Panhandlers smiled and waved as if welcoming us into their town. It was like everything became surreal. We made it into the small town of Leroux without much hassle, and there were cars already parked around our grandpa's house. A gathering of people loitered outside my grandpa's house we couldn't recognize, and we started to wonder if our dad was anywhere around. Three of us looked bewildered as we stepped foot on the wooden porch, and some guy bolted out the door with a unique painting with no regards if we wanted it or not. We walked in the house and immediately spotted our dad helping someone separate the table by the window. He had his back turned so we didn't catch the expression of disappointment in any of our faces. Manny said, "Hey, Dad." Our dad turned around and exclaimed, "Hey, you made it." "Yeah," said Sam. "What's with all these people taking things out already?" "That's my wife's family. They got here just before you did. I guess they got first dibs." We never met his wife's family before this day and knew nothing about them. However, our first impression of them wasn't a good one. Considering his wife married him mainly for financial support, it wouldn't surprise us that the rest of the family was just as money-grubbing as she was. From the looks of them, we could be right. "Geez, Dad," said Sam, "I didn't know. I don't know. Shouldn't immediate family come first?" "These are our family, son. We never met this family before." "I understand that, but look, there's plenty of stuff left over. Have a good look around." He has a ton of neat stuff upstairs. The floor creaked with every step from the stairs to the top floor. Fortunately, it was quiet up there, and it appeared no one was around. The room to my right was my grandma's old room. She passed away when I was younger. I gently creaked open the door, and the only neat stuff I saw was a bed and a mirror. Still, I took a gander inside the room and recollected seeing my grandma one last time. I remember just before she died, she was laying on that bed, and I approached her like a lost child. She wanted me to come close. She took me by the arm and said to me in a timid old lady's voice, "I want you to promise me something. When you get older, please take care of this house. This house has been in the family for generations. I don't want it to exchange hands to someone else. Become someone and make sure this house stays within the family. Will you promise me?" My little self replied, "Yes, Grandma." My flashback evaporated when the closet door flew open and coat hangers danced back and forth. I slowly edged myself out and said to it, all right, I'm leaving." I raced back downstairs and saw my dad watch the table he helped take apart be carried by two people out the door. He precariously waved goodbye when I approached him from behind. I shouted, "Dad!" My dad turned to me and asked, "What's wrong?" "You can't sell this house. Don't you remember? Grandma wanted it to stay in the family." "I know, son, but none of us can afford the upkeep of this place. There's too much money to get into this place, and I'm afraid we don't have the finances for that kind of thing." "Then give me some time then. My agent wants to work real hard on this book. I'm almost done with it. Just let me finish this book, and once my agent takes care of it, maybe we can—" "Son, that's for the banks to decide now. Unless you can purchase the house, I'm afraid it will go to some other family now. I'm sorry." I was pretty much moping in the back seat on the way back. My brother spent the better half of the trip complaining about how much bullshit it was that the other family got all the good stuff before them. It seemed every time we turned around, our dad just kept pissing us off. Then I said to them, "I'm going to get that house back." Sam responded caustically, "Well, you better write that book really fast then." I just can't believe Grandma's dying wish was to keep that house in the family, and nobody was willing to fulfill that wish. "Uh-oh," said Manny. "What?" asked Sam. "Welcome to Michigan." We hit rough terrain as we passed that billboard. I continued to speak even though the rough bump of the tires hitting the pavement drowned out my voice. I said, I'm going to get that house back. I'll spend all weekend working on it if I have to. Look at this, said Manny as he looked up at his cell phone. Tornado warning is in effect. Sam asked excitedly, Really? When? Tomorrow. I guess it's a big one. Then we all exclaimed, Yes!